Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today we're going to be talking about the Block, a very straightforward, long, narrow, infantry-intensive map in Battlefield Hardline. Now, I was able to record this footage at an EA press event, and some of this gameplay is mine, some of it belongs to Spartan117GW. His channel is linked in the video description. Now, speaking with some of the devs about this map after playing it, and a lot of the inspiration came from Bad Company 2, because the destruction in this map is nuts. You can blow up a lot of stuff. You'll see right here in the beginning that one of these apartment complexes on fire will actually crumble. Now, this is not necessarily a scripted event in the beginning of the round. You can actually set a lot of the other buildings on fire and they will crumble as well. Throughout this video, we'll be switching between a couple different game modes. Currently, it's hostage rescue, where everybody has one life. You have to go in and try and rescue a few hostages. I'll also be showing off team deathmatch, which gets absolutely crazy on this map, but it's a lot of fun. If you just like that crazy close quarter infantry combat with lots of destruction mixed in, then this is your map. It's honestly one of my favorite maps, might even be my favorite map that I've played so far. Sure, it's not a great representation of vehicle combat, but that's something that I've really liked about the evolution of the Battlefield franchise, is that it's really gotten so good with the infantry combat that you can make maps that focus exclusively on that. Now, this footage was recorded on PS4, and you'll have to excuse some of my console skills here. Controller is certainly not my forte when it comes to shooters, but luckily Spartan's a bit better on console, so his gameplay is going to be a little more entertaining. And I'm running around with the double barrel shotgun here using Visceral's custom dev camo. They have kind of a chrome blue camo, which is cool, different from the solid black that the devs got from Battlefield 4. And I kind of like this. It definitely stands out, and it's going to be very easy to recognize when somebody's running with a dev gun. Now, the layout of the map is very simple. It's a long, narrow rectangle, and you have two streets, one on the north side and one on the south side. The streets are kind of littered with cop cars and other vehicles and stuff, so there's plenty of cover to move down the streets directly if you want to. But if you choose to move through the center of the map, then you're going to be moving through apartment complexes and other buildings. The room-to-room combat in this map is absolutely awesome, and it's really good if you want to run with a shotgun. I have a feeling shotguns are going to be one of the more favored weapons on this map, but it's not to say that other weapon classes are not going to do well. In fact, if you want to run a bolt-action sniper, you can actually lock down one of the streets if you want, because it's pretty much a straight shot all the way up and down those streets, and people are definitely going to try flanking those routes. So it's actually a really good map for all weapon classes, but if you do decide to go with something more long range, you're going to be a little bit more limited in where you're going to be effective with those weapons. Now, the really cool fiery effect in these apartment complexes can be achieved, I believe, by taking out the stove. Basically, if you take out the stove, it'll set the gas line on fire, and then the whole apartment will turn on fire and you'll get hurt if you're inside of it. So it's a cool way to not only try and get people out of the apartment complex, but just to bring the whole building down altogether. Now, aesthetically, I love the look of this map. It's extremely detailed. It really represents some of the more kind of ghetto areas of Los Angeles. A lot of cars up on blocks, just crappy apartment complexes, graffiti everywhere. It's just a really neat environment that you haven't really seen too much of in any Battlefield game to date. So it's a welcome addition, and I'm really looking forward to just learning every little nook and cranny of this map. Now, in case you weren't aware, not all game modes will be playable on all maps. Obviously, you can't play Hotwire here. There's just no room to drive a vehicle around. And I think that's a really good decision on the developer's part, not to try and force every map into every style of game mode, because it would essentially prevent you from having maps like this. You can't really do Hotwire on a map like this, so they would have to try and expand the map, probably compromise the design of it overall to make it fit with every single game mode. Now, obviously, this map is not going to appeal to those of you who like the more traditional Battlefield maps. Larger, more vehicle-oriented, infantry kind of work together with vehicles. This is just nothing but infantry combat. Regardless of what game mode you play it on, you're not going to be playing with any vehicles whatsoever. Luckily, though, if this map doesn't appeal to you, there's going to be 5 maps that are really designed more around that larger scale vehicle combat, and there's even one map that I would consider kind of an in-between style map. So there's going to be plenty of vehicle-oriented maps, and luckily a lot of those maps also kind of transition down well to infantry style combat when you want to play them on TDM style game modes. Now, this apartment complex might be incredibly annoying to play on, say with the old school Battlefield 4 style minimap that didn't show you any sort of height difference in your enemy. Luckily, we've got that new updated minimap. If you see that full-size red triangle, then you'll know that they're on the same level as you. If they're smaller, that means they're probably above you if you're on the bottom level in the apartment complex. So it's going to be that much easier to try and hunt down your opponents on this map. Otherwise, you're going to spend a lot of time sort of searching rooms that you expect to see somebody in, and they're actually going to be one level above you. Now, the map itself actually increases in elevation ever so slightly as you continue up the block a bit, and you can actually get a zip line from the higher areas on the map to zip line over onto, say, the rooftop of the apartment complex. So there's still some nasty little places you can get to if you actually use the zip line appropriately. And I do like that a lot of the maps are sort of catering to really liking the zip line for getting up to those hard to reach spots. Although once people figure out where you are, you're not really going to have a lot of cover to defend yourself, and they can pretty much take down the buildings that you're on top of anyway. So it's certainly not like the Battlefield 3 Battlefield 4 exploit ways of getting on top of things with, say, the spawn beacon and parachute. This is much more designed around the idea of getting on rooftops, but also being able to be shot off those rooftops relatively easily. Now, I cannot wait to play this map on PC. 64 players is probably going to be way too many for this map. I hope the devs try and limit it to more like a 32-player map, but we'll have to see what happens once the game launches. I do know that a lot of the game modes are actually going to have player limits built into them, but we'll have to see if that applies to TDM. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and stay tuned to more Hardline coverage on this channel. I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.